Good morning and welcome to Mayor's Weekly. I'm excited about this morning because I have questions to answer. And if you go back to the early days, and the basis for having a Mayor's Weekly was to answer questions that people across the city have regarding the operation of the city and other items. And we've had some questions, but it's been quite some time since we've had questions. And so this morning I have 3 questions to address. They're all good questions, and I'll move right into those questions. Questions come from Donna Hayden and out on Ridgewood Road. And here's the first question that Donna presents. Can you update on the following? The fiber project with Alabama Power Company and C Spire. As we know it, and talking with senior leadership at Alabama Power Company, the fiber cable around this city, I think that's built out. It's about a 45-mile piece of work. Very, very expensive. No cost to the city of Jasper. What's happening in connection with that, C Spire has come to town, and the vendor of internet services and other services. There's probably certainly not a month that goes by that I don't talk with the leadership at C Spire. They've been very pleased with their experience here in Jasper. If you drive around the city, if you see spools of cable, that bright orange and bright blue, that's the cabling that those folks are putting in the ground so they can provide the services that they provide. They're working diligently, I think, to blanket the city. All well-run businesses have a keen focus on return on investment, and with that in mind, C Spire is trying to bring their services to higher density populations so they can grow their number of subscribers and begin to recoup some of their investment. Not only recoup their investment, but to realize the return on their investment. So that project is going really well. I get questions from time to time, when will it be to our area? I can't answer those questions simply because I don't know. I would imagine that C Spire's strategy is pretty fluid, that they move in a direction that will produce the greatest gain for them in the shortest period of time. But I know that like I said, the cabling, the 45 miles of cabling is built out, and C Spire is committed to this market and working diligently to bring their services to as many people as they can, as quickly as they can. So that's where we're at on that. The second question, census results. That's a great question. How reliable is the census? I don't know, and neither does anybody else. The results that came out, I believe, last week, and I'm excited about this, shows Jasper growing maybe as much as 1.5%, putting our population at a tad over 14,000. Now, you see interim data, probably 3 years ago, that had Jasper losing population, had us down in the 13,500 range. Well, if that is correct, then if you assume that the data that we just received is correct, Jasper's had a far greater population growth than a 1%, 1.5%. So I don't know, but what I do know, just to the casual observer, when you drive the streets of Jasper and you look at the traffic load on our streets, which is good, you look at our fast food establishments is a good indicator, doing extremely well. And then when you come to City Hall and you see that in fiscal year 2021, which we're about to wrap up, September 30, that our sales tax revenue is up 16%, then it's pretty obvious that Jasper is growing, has grown significantly. Could you say everybody in Jasper became wealthier and spending more money? That's not logical to believe. Homes are selling pre-construction. Don't know that that's ever happened in the city. We're issuing more building permits than we've ever issued. So a lot of things point to Jasper growing. That's a good thing. But the folks that are looking at Jasper, maybe to locate a business here, whatever, they look at the census data, and to have growth is a very positive thing, because so many municipalities can't say that. You go to our larger municipalities in the state, I think Birmingham had a decline in population. Mobile had a decline in population. That information was brought out in the mayoral races that wrapped up a couple of days back. Huntsville had a huge population increase and became the largest city in the state of Alabama. So I am pleased that the census data reports of growth. I do believe our growth is far more significant than what the data would lead you to believe. Mayor's 4-point plan. 4-point plan is this: a sportsplex, a new city hall, paving, and money for industrial sites, industrial land acquisition. Here's where we're at. We know that we would like to put a couple of $1 million out there. It's available to for our Industrial Development Board to make application to our city council if there's a need to do site improvements, to do land acquisition. Why is it structured that way? I take full credit for that. I think 2 sets of eyes, 2 sets of ears will render a better decision, keeping in mind that our desire is to grow employment opportunities in our city, because you can spend a lot of time talking about the benefit of that. So we're looking at probably $2 million there. We are looking at maybe as much as $5 million in paving to wrap up what we started just a few years back, which we believe would allow us to more than wrap up paving the remaining streets in our city that need to be paved. I'm going to underscore that again, that need to be paved. I have not said pave every street in the city, because we have many streets that don't need to be paved. So we know what the 2 things that we don't know, and we're getting closer to knowing. How much is it going to cost to convert the Sherry Auditorium to a city hall? We're working with an architectural firm now, and they have told us that they think it's probably a tad over $5 million to do that project. What's being done right now is the architectural firm is evaluating the structural integrity of that building to make sure that it is suitable for a build out to be a city hall. We think we'll know that in the next few days. We have an engineering firm that's looking at configurations for a sportsplex, and there are a jillion different configurations out there. A cloverleaf design, 4 fields, 6 fields, whatever. What would work best for a city of 14,000 people? At this point in time, we think the location of that sportsplex would be at the intersection of Charles Bishop Drive and Industrial Parkway. The city owns a nice block of land there. The Industrial Development Board in the city owns a nice block of land there. Also, we have a large residential developer that's looking at a piece of that property for a residential development. That's exciting to me. Just day before yesterday, we have presented information to the engineering firm that's working on the design of the sportsplex and how it could fit together with the industrial development. And we're beginning to get some ideas about what it might cost to do a sportsplex that would be and suitable for our city. What happens from there with this information? This has been talked about across our council It's my understanding, my belief, that the council supports these projects. The council does not have all the information that's been gathered. We're accumulating that, and we'll probably begin to talk about those things in the next work session. And then from there, then how do we execute the plan? It's my belief that all of those things will become a reality. It's my belief in probably the next 60, maybe 90 days at the most, the plan of how we do that will be rolled out. Like I said, what I know, the work that I've done, clearly there's a plan that can make all this a reality. And I believe the council will support it based on what I've heard. But I can't speak for the council, but I do think we'll have it on the table at a work session, if not the next work session, probably the next one for sure, to share with the council the latest information we have, and then begin to think about an execution of a plan to put these things in place. And there could be some concerns, deviations from what we've laid out. We'll have to see, but I will tell you that I'm highly optimistic that all those things will become a reality. So, very good questions, Donna. And what I would say to all that may watch this program, we welcome your questions. I love to answer your questions. People need to know what's going on in their city. They're entitled to know, and we make every effort to get you the information that you request. I'll wrap up today with remarks on COVID. If you read the news, it's raging. People are dying. I read yesterday 2 counties in the southern part of the state where portable morgues have to be brought in to deal with people that have died as a result of COVID. You look at in Coleman, 2 huge events, Rock the South, and then a visit by President Donald Trump, and the Coleman Hospital is packed out. It doesn't have any more capacity based on what I've read, and as I read between the lines, they think those large events are contributing to the raging COVID. So what I say to you, this city, if I have anything to, is not going to dictate anything to anybody. Something may come from the state, and we're sworn to uphold the laws of the state of Alabama, and we will do just that. But I spoke with a group of our employees yesterday regarding the upcoming Foothills Festival, and I said, my request to you is do everything that you can to protect yourself against COVID, and use good judgment. And I don't know that you can do much more than that. Hopefully people will, I said, this gathering, use good judgment to protect themselves. And when you protect yourself, then you're protecting others. And so we'll move along again. Donna, thank you for your questions, and others, if you have questions, please send them our way. Look forward to seeing you next week.